Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm excited to bring you a powerful conversation with Saurabh Srivastava, senior leader at AWS and one of Amazon's experienced bar raisers. If you're aiming for a role at AWS, especially as a solutions architect, this episode is packed with real world insights. We talk about first what AWS really looks for in candidates. Then we'll talk about how to stand out in both technical and behavioral interviews. After that, we'll talk about how to apply leadership principles even if you have never worked at Amazon. Then, what your first 90 days at AWS should look like. And finally, how generative AI and agentic AI are reshaping the future of technical roles. Saurabh and I have co authored two books. First, Solution Architect Interview. Second, Generative AI for Software Developers. You'll find the links in the description below. So if you're serious about leveling up your career, grab a notebook, hit like and subscribe, and let's dive in.
Hi everyone, this is Saurabh Srivastava, and I'm really glad to meet all of you today and have this discussion. I'm coming with 20 plus years of industry experience and with Amazon and AWS since last 10 years. I lead the team of solution architect in AWS. Throughout my career, I started my role as a software developer, then moved to the software architect, technical architect, and now I'm leading the team of the enterprise architect and large deal architect in AWS. And happy to be here to answer the question with Sanjeet.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thanks for the introduction. Let's start with a couple of questions. I know you have been with AWS for a long time, and you have been a hiring manager for at least 5 years now, right? So I want to understand from you, what do you look for when you hire a solutions architect or other roles within AWS? But let's focus on solution architects for today.
Yes. Yeah, I will happy to take that question. And I'm also bar raiser, so I interview people across the Amazon. So definitely can talk about what I look for the solution architect role, and in general, we'll talk about the Amazon. So for the solution architect role is we are looking for the people who has a extreme ownership and entrepreneurship. So there is two kind of things is there. One is soft skill and other is the tech skill. So let's focus on the tech skill. So tech skill is obviously these days is cloud is the norm. Okay. And if you'll ask me 3 years ago, am I looking for the cloud? No. I said that, okay, if you are good in the in handling the data centers or building the application or building the database admin or network admin, or you have the depth and breadth of the technology, I'm happy to take you and talk about that, and you can learn the cloud. But in last 3 years, I feel that if someone has not learned the cloud, they're missing the learn and be curious. So that is the first signal. So if I look someone now these days, first is I see that, okay, what kind of tech skill you have. And for solution architect, I'm looking the breadth of technology and T-shaped skills. So candidates should know the things which helps to create a system architecture, but at the same time, they should go able to deep on the one technology, right? And it could be the technology of your choice. You can say that, hey, I'm coming from the software development background. I know in and out of app dev. Let's discuss the API design of that. Or I'm coming from the big data background. Okay, so let's discuss what is the data lake architecture, data mesh, or all those kind of things. Or for the same line, if ML is there, okay. And but in breadth, you should know the basic of networking, storage, and compute, auto scaling, load balancing. All those things we are looking for. Okay. On the soft skill side, the customer facing skill is very important. So look how you are going to present yourself in front of customer, how you going to convince the customer, and comes with the whiteboarding, and what is your presentation skill and all those things. Obviously, often you going to engage with the customer, trying to like in pre-sales process, responding into the RFP or building the solution or enabling their architect. That is the second part. And I think that the final part is I'm also looking for the thought leadership. What kind of thought leaders you have? Have you wrote any blog? Have you wrote um, any webinars? You did any webinars, public speaking, and all those things. So that is the gist of it.
For my viewers who are, eagerly, want to understand what is the role of, let's say, LinkedIn in the whole recruitment and hiring process. So, at AWS, do you use LinkedIn for recruitment purposes?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the, for any company currently, LinkedIn is the one of the go-to things. So there is a two, three things is there. One is obviously there we get the candidate through the referral, and then candidate directly applying from the LinkedIn. And sometimes we go and do the proactive search, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me the ranking, obviously the referral we would like to see first because they are the known people, but it's not, we go into the LinkedIn and our recruiter and sourcer work through the LinkedIn also and try to use the LinkedIn recruiter and try to find the people from there, and we do the review and go through them. So I will say it's very important to have your LinkedIn profile updated, right? So even
Mm-hmm.
if someone is sharing their resume with me, I first click, and most of the people these days add the LinkedIn link. If not, then also I go and look into the LinkedIn, because
Mm-hmm.
the myth is the resume should not be more than 2 page long and all those things. I'm perfectly fine with it, but LinkedIn give me a lot more details. And it also, as a solution architect, I feel that person, if how much interaction he has with the community, so I'm able to kind of able to see the what is the experience, publication, and all those things, which may not be reflect in the 2 page resume. So I will say it play a very important role. And for the audiences, they should always develop their network in the LinkedIn, and if possible, try to reach out the leader, which company you are applying, and ask them if they can refer you. Right, that is
Mm-hmm.
better chances to get selected there.
That's a great piece of advice. So a lot of people are hesitant to actually reach out to hiring managers, and I've seen that you also post on LinkedIn whenever you are hiring for your own teams. So what should be the best way for someone who is a candidate to can they contact you directly over LinkedIn or through actual job postings? What do you think should be the right way to do?
I feel that if people are going applying in the job posting, looking interested, maybe it is not impressive and it will lost somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
If person will look into the job posting and kind of they look at job posting, do some research, and send the customized and tailored message which is
Mm-hmm.
relevant to job posting directly to the hiring manager, I will say yes, not 100% time, but maybe 60 to 70% time or 50% time it will work. Depend upon what is the need of filling the job. Most of the time it's urgent need. Okay.
Yeah.
And the things is as soon as you see the posting, take immediate action, because things move fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
After 3 days or 1 week, I have enough people in pipeline that I may not look for the more responses. But if you look, give me the tailored response, it will, at least it will show me the person has the interest. He's
Mm-hmm.
really putting the genuine effort to understand the job description, passionate about the job, and then trying to justify, hey, how I can be fit here. Okay, so that's matter a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. I think I think that you talked about being proactive, uh, and it makes sense to have a tailored resume because if the resume is generic, does not go well with the specific job posting, it might not work. And also, hiring managers at AWS, you in particular, you're willing to entertain candidates who are reaching out to you directly. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great piece of advice.
And I will add take first mover advantage also.
Yes, yes, you're right. And yeah, I guess proactivity and first mover advantage, early bird advantage. I think that
Right.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a great segue into the next question that I have for you. And this question is about the actual hiring process. Suppose you were able to shortlist candidates, and the candidate was able to get into the recruitment pipeline, and now the interviews are being scheduled. So what can you tell us about the entire interview process? For example, the phone screen, the loops, and as you said, you are the bar raiser. So what is the role of a bar raiser actually?
Yeah. So there is two questions here. So I will first answer the question on the hiring process, and then I will segue to the bar raiser part of it.
Sure, sure.
So from the hiring process is if the first recruiter will reach out, okay, and they kind of give half hour coaching, kind of that is conversation, want to understand candidate interest, if they are fine with the other requirement which is outside of the job, it may be related to the relocation or related to the traveling and all those things. And at the time, the good things about the AWS or Amazon recruiter also coach you how you go about the interview, right? So there is a coaching engage on that, and they stress on that, they give the material and the leadership principle and all those things, right? So first, let's talk about the next round come is the telephonic interview. And the telephonic interview where we see that, hey, is this worth calling this candidate to the on-site interview? On-site doesn't means that candidate has to come on-site. It used to be in olden days. Now it means that there will be a, if people crack the phone screening interview, there is a 5 round of interview, and those interview have like mostly couple of tech round and some leadership principal round, like behavioral round and tech round, hiring manager and all those things. So I will talk more about that. So in the tech interview, I will say the phone telephonic screening might be easiest part, because we try to see the depth and mostly the breadth of the person. Okay, so in the breadth perspective, if we see, if you know all these different area which is required for the architecture design, that person have the basic and he's able to go have the depth on one or two area. The other part, we ask couple of behavioral question and see that if customer is, if that person is striking the key LPs. Okay, so those LPs is like a customer obsession, right? And then mostly the dive deep or the untrust kind of LPs, right? And then we'll get the good feeling. Then we move for the on-site interview. Now for on-site interview, there will be another prep call from the recruiter, and once people will reach there, it will be the 5 round. There will be one hiring manager, one bar raiser, there will be one business person and two solution architect tech person, right? And these will go through the seeing that what from tech perspective, if you can go a tech breadth and tech depth. So one round will be tech breadth, understand the different part of the architecture and how you put these pieces together. And other part will be tech depth, where you say that, hey, I know in and out of this. If you're talking about the container, you should be able to talk about Kubernetes and Docker and all those things. If you're talking about the application development, you should talk about the designing API and all those things, right? Something like that. And
Mhm.
breadth is as we talked earlier. And the hiring manager obviously see if the person is team fit or not, right? And asking some behavioral question. And finally, the bar raiser see if the person is Amazon fit or not, right? So the bar raiser job is, the person who is going to hire should be better than 50% people in the same role. So if I'm hiring a senior solution architect, the people on the senior solution architect role currently, he's better than 50% of them are not. So that's what it is, bar raiser. True meaning is we keep raising the bar. It means The 10 year ago, if you gave the interview in Amazon, it is literally much more tougher now, because we are keep raising our bar and we are always searching the candidate who is better than us. We hire the smart people who are smarter than us, right? And that's how company grow big. And we keep it innovative. So these are the in the gist, all those things. Once
Sure.
it is completed, then we have 2 and 5 promise. It means telephonic interview, candidate will get the answer within 2 days, and for the on-site it is like a 5 days.
Oh, that's great to know. And what is the role of LPs? For example, the leadership principles. A lot of people have been asking this question on LinkedIn as well. So, you know, how does a candidate know about LPs? I know they can go to the leadership principle website, I mean Amazon's website, and read about leadership principles, but they have not used leadership principles per se in their previous organization. So is it like we are testing for those leadership principles, or just their behavior in general, and how do they kind of make sense?
So I will say everything, all the interviews working backward from the leadership principle. Okay, so
Hmm.
even behavioral interview focused on the leadership principle, and technical interviews also work backward from the leadership principle. So simply, if the interview is about and each of the interviewer has the 2 to 3 leadership principle, and they work backward from there, right?
Hmm.
So for the tech part, I will take first. So if they may be taking the dive deep, right? If you are really can go and talk about, hey, this issue I have fixed, where I have to peel several layers and have to go deep on that, it means you are answering the dive deep there, right?
Hmm.
Or bias for action, where customer has some problem, you jump and fix it by yourself without waiting others. Or some things was got stuck, and then you without waiting for others, you went and you took it on yourself and completed it, right? That is the ownership. So those kind of things are there. Again, in behavioral also, question can come the time when you really understand what customer want. It is not always that customer understand what they want, right?
Hmm.
Ford says that if I will ask, I would have asked customer in 1900 or what they want, they will ask the better horses. They will not say that I want car, right? And that's what invented the car. Same with the Steve
Hmm.
Jobs, right? They so all these things is like customer often don't know what they want, but they get wow factor when you are coming an expert and tell about these things, right? So that become very important. And trust is how you are aligning with that. So tips, I will say, if you'll go and look, there is 16 leadership principle, right? Some leadership principle very evident is for the maybe for the different role, like hire and develop best mostly relied on the manager's role, right? Or very senior role where you mentor the people. But
Hmm.
16 leadership principle doesn't means you need 16 examples. Just build 7 or 8 example. I will say 7 example is enough, and try to map 2 to 3 leadership principle to each example. And it is fine in the interview. Go, don't give the same example to all the 5 round, but you can
Hmm.
repeat some example twice, but just change the context, and that is perfectly fine. If you're talking between the 5 to 6 example or 6 to 7 example among the 5 people, then they will know when we will go on the debrief. Actually, all the 5 people talk to each other, do their voting kind of panel discussion. At least they say, yes, there is enough diversification in the examples. But if you are
Hmm.
just 2 example, you are repeating it, that is the red sign, right? If you are coming with 10-year experience, how, or 20-year, how you can have just 2 examples, right?
Yeah.
So that is the trick. I will say that I will talk about it, and then we'll also talk how to prepare all these questions.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think yeah, this is amazing. I think most people do not actually talk about what does it actually mean to apply leadership principles for people who are not coming from Amazon, right? And what you said just tells me that these LPs are generally applicable, and people normally go through all of these LPs outside of Amazon as well. For example, you mentioned about Dive Deep, you mentioned about earning trust and ownership. So it is important to pay attention to those leadership principles, but it is important for the candidates to come up with their own unique personal stories.
Yes, yes. And one more things I would like to add, Sanjit. I see the leadership principle is not tech; it is the way of life, right?
Yeah.
Even in my personal life also, I try to apply it, right? If as a family man, I'm taking
Yeah.
ownership of my family, providing all the things to them. If I'm
Yes.
thinking of something, I want to get it done, that is like a deliver result, right? So
Yes.
I will say I feel that the leadership principle is more philosophical intensely, and it anyone can apply in anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the some magic box which is just intended for the AWS interview.
Yes, that's right. Truly believe that, because in my 10 years at Amazon slash AWS, we have been applying those principles on a regular basis.
Yes,
So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. All right, so let's move on to the next. Now we have talked about the what you see in what you look for in a candidate. What is the interview process? We talked about leadership principles a little. Now imagine a candidate is truly successful and kind of understands all of these things that we just spoke of and applies during the interview and gets selected at Amazon. So what do you think should be the first thing, or first few things a solution architect should do in the first 30, 60, or 90 days at AWS?
yeah. So if you will see, overall AWS and Amazon has very structured onboarding process, right? And which has, okay, these set of trainings are you need to do in first month, second month, third month, and these are the these are the people you need to talk. This is where you need to do and all those things, right? Actually, what I look at good hiring and good solution architect are as such any tech role is coming or any role. I see that the first things is learn and be curious, right? So if candidate is coming, how curious he want to learn the culture, learn the technology and adapt to it, and how fast, right? That is first part. The second part is obviously it comes like the bias for action and earning trust, right? How quick he is able to find the things or respond to the things, and building the alignment with their peers and leaders and building kind of trust with them, right? Creating the allies and who can help them. Obviously, there will be mentor and all those things. And the final things is what I look is ownership, right? Ownership means one things I will talk about the ownership, which often I talk in my interview. And Steve Jobs once said, and I truly follow that, and I see that very applicable to Amazon. We hire the smart people because we want them to tell us what we should do, not the otherwise, right? So if I am hiring some people and they are connected to the ground, they are working with the customer day and night, right? They know the customer pain point, right? So they should tell, hey, here I see the gap and I want to do something about it. That
Mhm.
is more important, right? So take the ownership and do something about it. Okay, and obviously you there is a mechanism how to take your idea further. Like in Amazon, you write one pager, two pager, get it reviewed and get the support from the leadership and move around that. That is, I think, the most important trait I look.
Can you give me like a real life example as to, for example, if you have been with AWS for close to 10 years now. So imagine that you joined AWS today, and being the excellent performer that you have always been, how do you think would you go about doing 30, 60, and 90 days? So I understand the first 30 days, and actually, takes about 60 to 90 days to complete Embark and the training, the onboarding. So how do you think, should be the first 90 days look like, like in terms of actual goals, in terms of meeting with people, and so on?
Yeah, so my idea is to meet as many as people and understand the best part to learn from the people and on-job training. Obviously, yeah, there will be some compliance training and all those things, that formality you have to do, right?
Mhm.
But when you are meeting and talking to the people, you learn most from them. You learn from their knowledge, which they have collected inside company from the years. So I think that is the first step, and at least when reaching in the second or third month, I should able to embed myself kind of shadow or reverse shadow kind of process where I can learn, and maybe both kind of things where I can able to talk to some tenured people or some people who just started company a year ago or something like that, okay, and learn from both part of it. Then these organizations are very complex, right? If you see, even they have engineering team, they have sales team, there is a program management, there is a support, and then there is an industry team, then there is a specialist team, partner team. So there is a lot of different, and each team has the unique specialty and knowledge. And once you talk to them and able to connect these dots, because ultimately everyone is working for the customer, you understand which direction a organization is doing and what they are doing. And again, I will stress that to go and look for the problem, right, and solve it. So one simple example I will give: back in 2018 when I joined, there was a very scattered way of learning the machine learning was just upcoming things, right? And at that time, I think 2018 around, Amazon launched the SageMaker, which was path breaking things there, okay. But people are talking into the silos. We have, yes, 1 hour presentation here, we have 1 hour video there, this is recorded and reinvent, go talk and all those things. But customer was very excited about that, but they are just thinking how I start with it, right? I understand what it is, but how I can really build something out of it. And that's where, like, I was when talking to the multiple customer and continuously seeing the demand, and then I look internally, I see there is a things in scatter but never stitched way. We just created took the ownership, okay, created a team of the 8 10 people who are ready to volunteer. Here people are always ready to volunteer, and created the full-fledged workshop with the 10 modules, which is taking from people from taking their data, massaging it, and then pushing it to the machine learning model like SG Boost and all, and doing training, tuning, and deploy part of it, right? And
Mhm.
then it is showing that, and we build it for a kind of I think a ticket event things, one for the FSI, one for the automotive, and kind of it helps lots of customer to thousands of customer then got enables. I cannot tell the actual number, but tens of
Mhm.
thousands of customer, and it really helps to kick off the service, right? So the one problem I saw there, we are good, we have built the service, we announce it to the world, but are we really going from prototype to production? This is the way I can solve it, right? And similarly, I have seen other people then took that idea, other people are also started coming up, and we see more and more this kind of workshop, which is helping us to do big time driving the builder mentality. And we are the obviously in the tech cells, we are the engineering organization, and when people really want to see whatever we are talking, is it working or not, and that's the gap we always looking forward to fill. So that is just one example, small
Mhm. Yeah, that's an excellent example. I think,
example.
finding a gap and seeing an opportunity and then, acting on it, you
Mhm.
know, that's the bias for action, I believe, and then also taking ownership of the whole problem and then solving it for the customer, proving that your customer obsession as
Right.
well. I
And
think.
One more thing I would like to add, when talking about solving the problem, we are not looking for people to build an entirely new business, right? Not to build the
Yeah.
rocket there. Just see this is small problem, and sometimes these small problem has the big impact.
Yes, yes, you're right. Because what you did or your team did was actually creating something that is repeatable and
Mhm.
then easily deployable in the sense that people can actually take it and then run workshops on their own.
Right.
So that is the builder mentality that you speak of. So yeah, I think that's an excellent example. People who are actually watching this video should learn from it. What does it mean to be proactive? What does it mean to have that builder mentality? And and also there is this term called influence without authority. I think this is one of the examples of influence without authority. You just create a virtual team of people who are aligned with your goals, and
Mhm.
then you kind of build something that helps a lot of customers in the end. So
That's
that's a great example. So I think um, and finally, and we cannot conclude our discussion without talking about generative AI. I know that we have written a book together, generative AI for software developers. So, what do you think is the role of generative AI in the context of solution architecture? Because a lot of companies and a lot of people actually feel that generative AI is coming for all the jobs,
Mhm.
right? Because generative AI can do almost a lot of things right now. But what do you think a solution architect and generative AI technologies, the way it is right now and the way it is going to evolve over the next 3 to 5 years, or even beyond that, do you see a way for solution architects and generative AI to coexist and then continue to provide value for customers?
Yes, yes. Yes, Sanjay. So I remember, I think last year in the summer, we are having that discussion when generative AI pretty new, this buzz was going around, and then we decided to write the book. And then we produced this 430-page book, Generative AI for Software Developer, just last week. So I will ask everyone to look that. And I think we put lots of answers there. Okay. So there is a myth that generative AI is going to take the jobs, right? I feel that it is not going to take the job, but people have to evolve with it. Okay, let's take simple example. When typewriter came, right, the people who were lots of people went into typewriting, right? It was a big job generator. Okay, and then computer came. Are the people who all the typewriter get jobless? No. The only typewriter get jobless who didn't learn the computer, right? If you learn the computer, now you multiply your productivity. And typewriter, if you type the same things, you might have to type 5 times, but here then you type 1 times and you copy paste and do the things. Same when calculator come into the picture. Is accountant got jobless? No, it is increase the accountant efficiency. So now they offload the calculation job to the calculator, and they focus on more on compliances, tax, legality, and all those part of it. I think same with the generative AI. So now generative AI is here, and even though we put the book name is for software developer, but it is for all the tech builders. In last 2 week, I have seen all the technology executive, solution architect, everyone is reading and appreciating the book. Even I see the feedback flowing in Amazon or LinkedIn and all, right? This is very helpful for everyone. So people should not limit themselves that. But how the solution architect should evolve. So today, it typically it is still happening. Someone can come and is solution architect job say that, hey, how I'm going to design this network architecture, or how I'm going to do this VPC and all those things, right? That generative AI can answer, right? They don't need solution architect for there. But here they need to evolve to ride into that train, right? And what is the next gen things is happening? I think next gen revolution is the agentic AI is there, right? I can see that there is extreme automation is happening because of the agentic AI. So and same apply to software developer also. So earlier, if you want to build application, you will have the UI, and then you will have the database, and then you write the lines of business logic to process that, right? Now, the business logic part offloaded to the generative AI model, because those model are capable of building all those things, right? Earlier, if you want to read a text and suppose read a document and uh, and uh, and tell something about it. So simple example, if I going to take a loan, I will in traditional scenario, I will have OCR library. OCR library will scan the document, extract the keyword like the mortgage loan amount and all. Then I will put that into database. I will do the calculation. Hey, this is my mortgage loan amount, 5% interest. Then this is how much it is going to come, and then return the result, right? And for that business logic, I may write a 10,000 line of code. Okay. But now that middle part is offloaded to the generative AI, right? So so for the solution architect or software developer, I will say they need to learn, go into the new era, go to the agentic AI and learn those architecture. In fact, we have talked a lot in that also about agentic AI and all this Gen AI architecture in our book as well. I think we need another book to go in more details, but definitely we provide the pretty good kick starter there. So I will say, don't just stick to the basic knowledge. Okay, how to fine tune this query, how to fine tune this network and all those things. Go and learn how to fine tune the LLM model, how to make it more relevant to the given application, how to make it use it to apply the automation, how to build that agentic AI architecture, which can marry the data from the web, from the and from the internal knowledge base, and then FM model, and bring something awesome out of it, right? That is the future.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I think a couple of things stand out. One, I think it's a force multiplier, and
Mhm.
it's not a replacement. The second thing I can think of is that it can compress timelines. For example, what you used to do in 6 months to 9 months or 1 year, you can now do it in 1 month with
Right.
the same number of people, right? Probably you can optimize that a little bit as well, and with improved quality. So I think the beneficiary will be customers in this case, because the kind of innovation companies do on a regular basis will amplify with generative AI. And
Mhm.
also agentic AI, I think the kind of automation that we are going to see as a result of it is going to amplify by many folds. So those two things are excellent and important to take out.
So I
And I
will
think,
one more point, Sanjit,
mhm,
is if when we are writing the book, we wrote a lot of things like human and loop
yeah,
methodology. The
yeah,
AI get as good as the human make them, right?
yes,
That's where you need these architects, these developers, because yeah, maybe it is more efficient now. Definitely it is more efficient, but
mhm.
you still need lots of human effort to fine tune, get the right things, and get the human in loop everywhere. It is evaluating the model, whether it is building, whether it is fine tuning, or whether creating this API to call each other and build the entire architecture. So
Yes, I think, yeah,
important.
that's a great point. I think that kind of reminds me of one thing, like, it's the rise of agentic AI, systems. For example, Manus is one that is causing a lot of news these days. OpenAI's Operator. Now, the point is, will customers adopt those off-the-shelf technologies, or will they build something on their own? Because we have seen this many a times, right? Off-the-shelf technology, SaaS versus something customers build on their own, which means that if customers want to build something on their own, they will need architects, because you
Mhm.
know, AI will do the heavy lifting. AI will write the code, but how to actually assemble that compute layer per se, which will be driven by or governed by AI, and how to actually bring pieces of data together to actually make meaningful applications out of it. Do you see, the industry going in that direction?
Yeah, see, I see these technology, these different foundation model and all is like a Lego block. And they
Yeah.
need people who understand how to fit these Lego together. And that's the architect job is there, right? So as you said, if we talked about the well architected framework, and if I will take that well architected lens here to the Gen AI, the foundation model is just one Lego and part of overall equation. You need the security, you need the operational excellence, you need the resiliency, you need the yes, and you need to make sure that it is not drifting. What is supposed to do should always do, and you need entire Gen I ops kind of things. And obviously LLMs and FMs are the central of it, but they cannot operate on their own, right? It has a lot of things will be around, and it need to be make the purpose built. These are the so generic, right? If I
Hmm.
am building a financial services bot, right, I need to tune it. It need to be purpose built to the financial services, to healthcare, to automotive, and all those things, and make it well architected, make it operational, and make it
Hmm.
secure. And for that, definitely we need a lot of architect. But again, architect need to evolve in that place. Like I talked about, typewriter need to learn the computer, right? That type.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think that's a very good example, and a very good analogy that you have used. I think that brings us to the end of this conversation, and I think it makes sense for us to think about the next evolution of the book. Agentic AI, agentic AI operation, how to adopt all of that inside a startup, or a developing organization, or an existing organization that is actually trying to adopt agentic AI, instead of just buying something off the shelf
Right.
at a premium price. You can have all of that in house with your own data, so that you do not have to kind of mortgage your data to somebody else, and probably use AWS to run your entire ecosystem of agentic AI
Yeah.
in house.
Mm.
So
I
yeah, I think that's a great idea, great segue to our new discussion, probably sometime down the line. And thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for spending time with me
For
today.
closing, I just want to tell couple of resources to the our
Sure.
audiences, and we author both the book, Sanjit, the Solution Architect interview book. Whatever we have talked here, most of the things you will find in the Solution Architect interview book.
Yes.
Again, Sanjit and I did co-authored that, and then solution, and then we evolved to the generative architecture. We always thinking the next idea and helping the builder to just get into that league, develop their career, and think new things, do something awesome. Okay, so keep following us and tune to us, and you will hear more awesome materials like we talked about. Two great stuff here today. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.